I want to know your favorite self-care practices that are a little bit indulgent.
I thought this is an interesting question to start with that really is important. It's something that I think a lot of us, we neglect in our lives, is to actually give ourselves moments of self-care. And I think when I was thinking about how to answer it, I was like, in terms of indulgence, it's like, I think it's indulgent to when the sun is out, go outside for like 5 minutes. One of my favorite things to do is to lay down in the sun and just open myself receptively up to the sun to receive just what I think is like sun medicine. I know that there's literal vitamin D and there's other things from the sun rays that are wonderful for me, but I just feel like that warmth and that vitality that I receive, it's like a recharge. And even though it's only 5 minutes, and most of us actually could do that at some point in our day, it does. I can imagine that that would feel indulgent for some folks of like, what, you're going to take 5 minutes out and go outside and just lay down. And it's like, yeah, I put my tech away. This is just receiving the sun. I feel like that is an essential one. Right now it's raining outside, so it's hard for me to really embody and feel it. But on the days that it's sunny, it's pretty sweet. Like I've done that for over 20 years. I started doing that when I was in college, and I remember people being like, are you okay? So I'd like lay down on concrete. Like other people would be like walking in and out of buildings and I'd just be laying there. But even in the winter, I lived in Colorado and it's sunny in the winter. And so just to like give myself those moments, I guess it's a deep rest, but it's also that receptive energy. And even in the winter, we can do it. You know, it's not something that's only summertime.
Yeah, I love that so much because I think that's the thing is like self-care. So many people think it's like selfish or like, what do you mean take 5 minutes out of the day? And so just hearing things like that, it's so nourishing. And that's what self-care is. So it's when I ask this question, I love all the different answers I get because I get answers like this. And just in my mornings, I'm not laying in the sun, but when the sun peeks through, I stop what I'm doing and I just, like you said, receive. There's something about it that's so powerful that I'm like, yes, give me that vitamin D, give me that energy, that life force energy. And so that's perfect. I love that answer.
Yes. And I did want to share one more that I think is actually pretty easy to incorporate, but is a whole new routine to bring into one's life that I love and that I learned when I was studying Ayurveda. So I studied Ayurveda like over 10 years ago now. And it was something that was encouraged for us to do on a daily basis. So it's like a daily practice. In Ayurveda, there's all these daily practices. It's a lot to take on all at once, but it's beautiful, basically self-care practices that support general optimal health in overall. But one of those things is body oiling. I don't actually currently do it every single day, but I did for years. Now I kind of do it a couple times a week, but it's actually warming up some oil. So actually like I use coconut oil or olive oil, depending on the moment and what I have, and sometimes sesame oil. And you can do herbal infused oils too. So that's really lovely and feels even more indulgent to me. But just honestly, for me, just the basic, coconut oil or something, if it's summertime, or sesame oil in the wintertime is a little bit more warming. And then just heating that up in the morning in like a double boiler, or I just like put a jar, honestly, in some hot water and heat that up just so it's like not cold, like so it's warmish. And then oiling my body and actually like my whole body. It's like a self-love practice. And it really doesn't have to take more than 5 minutes to do. So it's like just the entire body, though. I'm talking your belly and your breasts or chest and your arms and your neck and even your face if you feel comfortable doing your face too. It's so many things. I mean, from an Ayurvedic perspective, I think it's called abhyanga, which is, I don't know how that translates, but it's essentially self-oiling. But another thing that I've heard it talked about, and I can't remember the Sanskrit word for it, but it's actually love. Like body oiling can be considered to be offering love to yourself. I see it that way. I feel it that way when I'm doing it. It's kind of like this like love that I'm offering to my body, to the cells on my skin, and then just feeling grateful, like having the moments of gratitude in that. And sometimes I'm not as conscious to be like, oh, I'm grateful for this part of my body and stuff. But like just having that practice feels really good. And then I usually take a shower afterwards. You can leave it on. Some people do, but I usually take a shower afterwards and it's just like my skin just feels good. And it's something I think a lot of even people with oily skin, this can be really useful for. So it's not something that's like, oh, only if you have dry skin, but I do tend towards dryness. So it is especially supportive for me. So there's the quality of the love, but there's also the quality of like, it's known to support your immune system. And when I think about you're oiling your body, you're also self-massaging a little bit. It's not like intense self-massage, but like self-massaging. So you're helping your lymph move. So you're actually helping like the wastes that are getting stuck in different places move in your body. And so there's a lot of health benefits too. Anyway, I could talk about that. I feel like I could talk about that for like a long time. But it's such a beautiful practice that's actually really simple. It does take a minute to get into the routine of doing it and to like feel like oriented to wake up and do that in the morning. It is really special. Yeah. So that's another.
I love that so much. I've known about the practice for quite a while. I've had a lot of people in Ayurveda tell me about it. And even if I'm not doing that practice, I will change that intention. Like even when I'm putting my face oil on my face, of being with that whole idea of love behind it. And it's also helped me build that self-confidence in certain areas of my body that I may not fully love and accept when I'm rubbing oil, because I do use oil as a moisturizer. I use coconut oil because my skin is super dry. I put that intention of I love and accept this part of my body. And so it's helped bring this overall idea of self-image. I feel like that's the first big start in anybody that's like having a hard time with the way they look or the way they feel. You kind of got to love yourself first if you're trying to have a transformation with your body. That really helped me on my weight loss journey and a lot of that stuff. So I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I had a recent episode about the Art of Living, which is an Ayurveda center, and they talked a lot about the different oil massages and things that you can do with that. So bringing these self-care practices to yourself at home is huge, because you can go on a retreat and have these ideas and you're like, yes. If you're just coming home and you're right in the same mundane tasks and not having that intention, it's just ultimately having that intention of like, this is me. I love myself. I'm caring for myself. It's indulgent in the best nourishing way. So I love those. Those are really both beautiful practices. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Yeah, I like the reflections that you shared too. And I do think that in our journeys in our bodies, those of us who have a form, who are, you know, identify as women or have bodies that have breasts or a chest and the womb bodies that I am often focused on, we are really acculturated to dislike parts of our bodies. That's like a real reality that almost every one of us faces. I mean, probably every single one of us faces. Yeah, I think just any practice where we touch our body. I was having a conversation with my mother-in-law. I guess I'm going to bring this up. Okay. Anyway, she was saying that she never, ever touches her breasts or her chest. I know, here I am. Yes, I'm on video. She never touches her chest in her whole life. Like it's a place that she's thought of as off limits. It was where she nursed her children, and it was a sexual relationship with her partner. That's like where she had her sexual relationship with her partner, and it's not like hers. She doesn't see that as a place that she like touches. And I was like, you don't even do like, you know, self checks and stuff just to feel and check for any kind of anything going on there. She was like, nope, I do mammograms. That's fine. And I'm just like, wow. So there's just no relationship with that part of your body. And that, to me, it kind of blew my mind. And I realized that she's not alone. I think that's what I'm saying is like, I know she's not alone. In high school, I was taught to do the self exams. So I feel like I just have always at least done that. And then, you know, the last 20 years or so, I've just like cultivated a really loving relationship with this part of my body that I could easily judge. But to have just this acceptance relationship with it doesn't have to be like going all the way to love immediately or to like, but just like, I have a relationship with this part of my body. I accept this part of my body. I embrace, I connect with this part of my body. Even that.
I actually read something in my morning pages today, and it was like, acknowledgement creates movement, even if you're not actually taking the steps. And so acknowledging your body and knowing that we don't have it, we're not here, you know, acknowledging this beautiful vessel that allows us to be in this human form is like that first step. But I definitely relate to your mother-in-law a lot in that. I don't know if it comes from a place of withholding. I don't know where it stems from, but it's definitely something I'm going to reflect on, because the last few years on this just journey, spiritual journey, just understanding that we have to love ourselves to really thrive in this life. It's taken relearning how to love ourselves, not having that judgment and not really just putting ourselves down. When we look at it, it's just even starting with the acknowledgement of, this is my body. What does it do for me? How can I love it more? How can I nourish it?
Yeah.
Welcome to Floaductivity, the channel that guides you on a transformative journey towards spiritual wisdom, self-development, and healing practices, all aimed at elevating your intuition and aligning you with your soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kara Dempsey, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me as we learn together. Please subscribe and share this with a friend to help grow my channel. I appreciate you, and we'll chat soon.